Whoa! Shit! How's it going, guys? It's Mojave here. I'm like right in the middle of a RE8 video that I'm making. It's probably going to be around 15 to 20 minutes going over. Well, you'll see. But anyway, Capcom just released another Resident Evil 9 breakdown. So I kind of wanted to go through it live and kind of give some of my thoughts on it. So here we go. And we're starting here because the first part is kind of them just saying, hey, this is RE9. Isn't this cool? And it is cool. But anyway.
いや言ってないですまあ実際あの時も話しましたけどレオンでもうバチバチのホラーのステージをテストしてみたんですけどやっぱりこんなレオンあんま見たくなくないっていう意見が大半だったっていうのは事実としてありますね。今回グレイスとレオンで全然違うゲームになってます。グレイスの方はその RE2 ですとかバイオ7もそうですね、ホラーに特化したゲーム体験になってまして、レオンの方はというとバイオ4に代表されるような緊張感はすごい高いんですけども、そこまでその恐怖に特化してない、まあ、アクションも楽しめるサバイバルホラー、レオンにふさわしい体験が作れてるんじゃないかなとは思ってて、グレースのホラーとそのレオンのアクション2つこう並べて遊ぶことで、今までのバイオハザードではないすごく感情の揺れ幅が大きいゲームになってます。
So there's a couple interesting things going on here. I'm gonna try not to be a giant gun nerd for at least 2 seconds here. Let me go back to that. Let's freeze frame on that again. So this is what's gonna make or break this game. Basically, what he just described, and this was kind of what I was thinking when I saw that Leon was officially announced for this title not that long ago. I'm like, okay, it's like we have essentially two campaigns. We have something that's styled like RE4 and by extension kind of Village a little bit, where it's definitely much more action than it is horror. And at the same time, as another campaign, we have something that's much more like the RE2 remake, and then obviously Resident Evil 7. Um, this is kind of like, in my opinion, I think this is as a result of the experiment they did with Village. Because Village, they tried to do both. They tried to do the RE7 thing, where it was first person, very immersive, and all this, cool stuff going on with the first person element, while also trying to introduce gameplay mechanics from Resident Evil 4. Um, for most people, it worked. In fact, more people played RE8 than RE7, which I'll talk about in my other video, but that's neither here nor there. However, it did split the community. A lot of people saw the first person, saw Ethan coming back, and were like, okay, cool, we're going to get more RE7, that's great, and then it wasn't that. So, Village being a bridging title into now this, where now we literally just have two separate campaigns with two different, styles of gameplay. Honestly, I think that was probably the smartest decision they could have made. And I say that because, you satisfy people like me who I like cool guns. I like watching heads explode. I like RE4. I grew up in the early 2000s. That tickles that part of my brain. But I also really enjoyed RE2 remakes, and then obviously I've played the older ones. I don't think I've actually, God, I played the original RE2 like when I was way too young. Now we have two separate campaigns where we have Grace coming in and acting as our B campaign, kind of like the original Resident Evils, where you could play as Chris or Jill and it would change things mechanically in the gameplay. But now it's literally just a radically different perspective. So not only I think will this appeal to older fans of the series, where you can play as different characters, but it will appeal to both sides of the audience. People more inclined with me and people more inclined with, well, people who are just dead set on having a survival horror experience. So if they nail this, this could probably be again like another defining game in the series. It has all this. The structure is there. It could potentially this could satisfy both camps very well and very easily. All the bones are there. However, at the same time, it's like, when you try to do two radically different things in one product, you might end up making something that does two things okay, but neither one very well. But then again, it's like, we'll see. Resident Evil 8 being the bridging title that it was definitely showed Capcom that although they can do it, they need more focused campaigns, which is exactly what this looks like. It's just two different campaigns, two completely different gameplay philosophies. I am cautiously optimistic about this. Anyway, I'm going to stop yapping. I'll talk about the guns when the video's over because I have a lot to say about that too.
バイオハザードって緊張と弛緩のその差っていうのが一つ面白さだと思ってるんですけども、すごく緊張して静かなペースで進むグレースのゲームプレイと、もう発散してダイナミックに激しいアクションをする、そういうカタルシスなレオン。
I don't know if you caught that, but we are seeing a return of the antique coins from RE7. And technically there was one in RE8 as well you could sell. Actually, no, you couldn't sell it. It was just there as an Easter egg. So, you know what's funny? It almost, the UI, like, it's definitely built off of the original RE2 remake, but it kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like RE2 and RE4. I don't know why. It's like aesthetically, I can't quite put my finger on it, but I did play both very recently, so it doesn't look like lifted from one or the other. It looks like it was kind of like, oh, let's take maybe it's the font from RE2, but you know, make the interactions less dumb like RE4. Anyway, that's neat. It's a neat little detail.
激しいアクションをする、そういうカタルシスなレオン。大きな意味でその緊張と弛緩っていう役割としてパートを最適に配置する、こういう意図でこう。
They are getting so much use out of this shotgun model. They've had this like Winchester, or they've had this shotgun model since like 2017, and they've gotten to use it in like literally almost every single title. Anyway, also if you notice when he killed the first guy with the axe, it didn't take any damage. So I wonder if they made it so when you do stealth kills, it doesn't actually decrease your item durability. But or maybe this is just a developer item or a fully upgraded item, so we'll see. But that's cool. I'm not. I told myself I wouldn't talk about the guns. Whoa! Shit! I think he got her.
レオンとグレース2人とも主人公なんですけども、ストーリーとしては基本的には一つ、ストーリーの中でプレイヤーキャラがグレースになるパートがあって、またレオンがプレイするパートがあると、そういう構成になってますね。
Okay.
バイオ6の後のレオンの続きですけど、レオンは
Okay. That's awkward. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that little tangent I went on like 2 minutes ago would have been the better solution. Okay, so now we have a problem. And I hate to say it, but now we have a campaign where you were trying to do both things at once instead of just sticking to one or the other and doing them separately. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but now that is a concern.
ゲームの段階でも DSO のエージェントとして、バイオハザードテロと世界のね戦い続けてるってなってます。彼はたくさんの悲劇を見てきた。おそらく彼今回過去一追い詰められることになると思うんで、その辺も注目してほしいなと思います。今回のゾンビは生前のその人の特徴っていうのを引き継いでいるゾンビがいます。
Okay, so it's like RE4. It's like RE4. So if you're hoping for more RE2 experience where they were literally just, mindless zombies or mutants, this is Las Plagas 2.0.
例えばこの館の中で掃除係の人がいるんですけども、その人はゾンビになってもひたすらこう屋敷をきれいにしようとね掃除を続けてるんですよ。このようにいろんなこう生前の行動に執着するゾンビがいて、ゲームでは彼らの行動を
I just saw his hand clip in his face. Literally unplayable. 0 out of 10. Don't buy this game.
察して、うまくかわすのに利用したり倒すのに使うと、こういったことができるようになってます。
Okay. Return of the Chainsaw guys. You love to see it.
レオンのゲームプレイは圧倒的な緊 張感のある戦闘 RE4 から進化したサバイバルアクションになっています。トマホークという斧を装備しており、それによるパリができます。
What? Wait, what? You can just do it on the fly now? That's gotta be an upgrade. There's no way you just start with an axe you can sharpen and just do parries whenever. That's busted, dude. There's no freaking way that... There's no way they're just gonna give you that straight away. Anyone that's good at the parry system from RE4 is... This game's gonna be a dog walk. There's no way, dude.
中心になってくるので、さらに洗練されたガンプレーっていうところにも力を入れてますね。また
Let's get a quick replay on that one.
さらに洗練されたガンプレーにも力を入れてますね。また V を狙って、
That was pretty cool.
敵に体術を決める。それから敵が持っていた武器を奪って利用する。どの敵をどの部位を撃つのか、またどうやって倒すのか、そういった戦略を立てるのが面白さであり。
That's a really good solution to the problem in RE4 where the same thing would happen. You kick them against a wall and they just kind of be stuck in this animation getting up, and you just kind of have to wait for them to get up or you just keep shooting them. So now if they're stuck against a wall, you can keep wailing on them, and it's like a separate animation. I think this is a good quality of life change.
それがうまくいった時にさらにこうカタルシスが倍増する。そういったゲームプレイになってます。
Wow, they damage you like way faster too. That's another good quality of life change. Instead of like you getting in this animation and just having to press A a shit ton of times or wait to use the knife or they damage you anyway, it's just like boom, you take damage, get it over with. This is a good change. Nice. Holy shit.
グレースのゲームプレイは制作空間の中を、投資弾薬脅威となる敵、その中をもう恐る恐る考えながら動くっていうような面白さだと思ってるんですけども、グレースでは敵を倒すべきか逃げるのか、そこの判断も非常に重要になってきています。なので、レクイエムではそのためのさまざまな手段を用意しています。それほど重火器いっぱい出てくるわけではないんですけども、一つこう象徴的な武器としてレクイエムというそのままタイトルを名を冠した武器が出てきます。この大口径の武器は弾数ほどないんですけど。
Is that what I think it is? You know, I had a suspicion that... We'll talk about it later.
構造という時にグレースを救ってくれる頼りになる武器になってます。
Also, she didn't put it in the right chamber for that to happen.
実はクラフト要素も少しひねりを入れてまして、そのアンポルを作るためには感染したゾンビの血が必要になります。クラフトのリソースになる血っていうのを、つまり敵を倒すのにもまた意味がある。
That sounds like a fucking terrible way we went.
ような工夫っていうのは各所に入れてますね。
Hey, editing room me. Just to clarify, that's actually Grace's way of doing stealth takedowns. I literally just didn't read. So, there you go. Ah.
That's too effective.
No shit, dog.
A variety of gameplay options have also been added to this title. Players can switch between two camera perspectives.
I don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, giving players more options is usually the better answer, but at the same time, you know, aren't we kind of sacrificing, like, what we're trying to do here? You know, if you can make Grace go third person anytime, that kind of takes away from the horror aspect of playing as her. And then if you can make Leon go first person anytime, and then that kind of makes the aiming way too easy. So, man, like, I don't know if that was the right answer. I don't know. Third person takes away a lot of tension because you can always see what's around a corner. I don't know how I feel about that.
And these can be changed at any time during the game. Multiple difficulties are also available.
Oh boy.
New players can enjoy casual mode.
Okay.
And use aim assist to take down zombies with more ease.
This was a point I have. Again, there's a lot of criticisms about RE8 I had in here that are already getting solved, which is good. So well, I'm glad I'm not insane. RE8 had too many difficulties. It was stupid. Like casual mode in RE8 or whatever it was called, like should not. It should have just been normal and hardcore. There should never have been a casual mode. Just like RE7. RE7 did difficulty perfectly. Even if Madhouse was really like sticking your dick in a waffle maker, um, it was still better than overall. The difficulty in RE7 was better. So I'm glad they don't have 4 anymore. It's just the intended experience. This is perfect. That's my point. That's interesting though. Modern and classic. I wonder if classic is fixed a fixed camera mode. As in like you can't switch between first and third person.
Players can enjoy casual mode and use aim assist to take down zombies with more ease.
Yeah, I don't think oh, so Grace also has a Leon like takedown. It gives her health. Anyway.
Assist to take down zombies with more ease. But if you choose
There we
standard
go.
classic, ink ribbons will be needed to save the game when
Yep.
playing as Grace.
Yep, she's got the RE2 inventory.
This mode
Nice.
is recommended for those who enjoy a tense atmosphere.
今回、ポルシェさんとコラボレーションさせていただきまして、世界に1台しかない
Dude.
車を作っております。
First of all, that's cool. Second of all, Leon drives an SUV, really? I'm going to skip over this section because it's mostly just a bunch of giant ad reads and things that really aren't that interesting and have nothing to do with the game.
In addition to the base game.
Okay, what do we got here? We saw, this is on the Steam website.
GeForce Now.
Okay.
This title is being developed in collaboration with NVIDIA, so a wide range of PC users can enjoy it.
It's such an honor to work on Resident Evil.
You.
The iconic series has been thrilling fans around the world for close to 30 years, and has continued to raise the bar for innovation and technology with every single release.
Much like we raise the prices of our GPUs by $1,000 every year, and they still all get stolen by scammers.
I can't wait to unlock the mysteries of Raccoon City once again.
Not only that,
So fake.
1/6
But I was really hoping they'd talk about the game a little bit more.
レオンにはある秘密
Oh, here we go. Maybe.
これもねまだお伝えしたいんですけど、実はレオンにはある秘密があって、そことも関わってくる要素だったり、グレースのお母さんアリスターが殺された、そこにも関わる非常に重要なものになっているので、この辺のねその謎をプレイしてぜひ解き明かしていってもらえればなと思います。
For reference, Grace's mom was in a game called Resident Evil Outbreak. She was a reporter. So this is a callback to dude, look at that. I'm sorry, hold on. We gotta talk about this Kydex holster. Holy shit, dude. That is insane. I need to get a Kydex holster for my BFR. That is goofy as hell, dude. I love that. I keep getting sidetracked with all the tactical gear.
Why did you kidnap me?
Kidnap you? I liberated you. I think I want a second opinion.
What is happening here?
I'll keep our friends busy.
Badass. Whoa. Okay, looks like that's it. All right. So overall, some good info there. About half of that was just marketing slop. I mean, it was cool marketing slop, but it had nothing to do with the game. So yeah, I guess after that, my biggest concern is the fact that it's not 2 separate campaigns, because that was my impression after a couple other videos they had released. I thought it was going to be 2 different campaigns, which again, that was like the first 5 minutes of this video is just me talking about how good of an idea that is, and then they're like, yeah, so you're gonna play hopscotch between these 2 characters, and I'm just like, I don't think you should have done that. think you should have had an A scenario and a B scenario. You know, Leon is A, or maybe Grace is A, and then, the other way around, where it's just two completely different campaigns. It'd be a nice throwback to the original Resident Evil, where you'd play as two characters, and then on a meta level with the audience, it's like, okay, if you want to play an RE4 styled campaign, you just play as Leon. If you want to play something more akin to RE7 with some elements of RE2, you play as Grace. I think that would have been a much better decision. I'm very surprised that they went with it. Well, actually, I guess I'm not surprised. Considering, and again, I'm releasing a video about this next month, but considering the reception to Resident Evil 8, and maybe less the total reception and more the criticism to Resident Evil 8, you would think that they would kind of take a step back and just really focus on one experience at a time. I liked RE8. More people liked RE8 than they liked RE7. This is just true. More people played it and it reviewed better. I'm not saying RE7 is bad, but again, RE8 appealed to more people. That's just how it happened. So, from that side of things, I guess I'm really not surprised that they went in this direction. To be fair, this seems a little more focused than RE8. It is one or the other. You're playing as Leon or you're playing as Grace. But as an overall kind of gameplay narrative, or I guess, or in terms of game design and game mechanics, you are having to hopscotch between one or the other. I can already imagine a scenario where you stun a zombie and you get ready to like scissor kick him, and you're like, oh wait, no, I'm like 100, I'm like a 115-pound college student. Like, oh shit, my bad. So yeah, overall pretty good. I'm still excited. I'm still gonna buy it, but I'm a little more concerned than I was previously. It's gonna be a good game, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and start with the most prominent gun, which is, went over it briefly, the revolver. Unless I am mistaken, this is a Russian revolver chambered in 9x39. They actually had one of these guys in Stalker. A couple things we know immediately. So we have what is obviously steel-cased ammunition. And then kind of this, it's hard to describe, but a lot of civilian hunting ammunition in Russia, the bullets are shaped like this. So this is so to me, this is very obviously a civilian 9x39. How did this end up in the middle of America? I don't know, but I'm glad it did. I would love one of these. Really quick, something I wanted to point out. You'll notice on the model for the 9x39 revolver, I swear to God, I'll remember the name of this thing. It's like the RK9, RKO9 or something like that. On the grips, you'll notice there's a pair of angel wings. This is a reference to the quick draw army that was in Resident Evil 2 for Claire's campaign, specifically her B campaign, where on the grips there is a silver pair of angel wings. That was just a neat little thing I noticed when I was going back to RE2 to inspect the Remington 870. So, fun little throwback there. I mean, buying this gun would be a nightmare because of import laws, and getting the ammo would also be not as difficult, but 9x39 is extremely uncommon. It's cool that this is kind of like the Magnum, even if I think the cartridge itself does not really lend itself well to kind of big, powerful hand cannons like we see, like in other games. Again, style points, 10 out of 10. Like, rule of cool to me always wins. But to get kind of technical, shitty, a little autistic about it, 9x39 was designed to be a subsonic cartridge, so it inherently is going to have a lower muzzle velocity. That being said, it's a 9mm rifle cartridge, so it's an intermediate cartridge. You're shooting out of a handgun. Obviously, that's going to have a lot of power behind it. Doubly so if you're shooting at soft targets. It's cool, and I like it, and I like that she has a speed loader. So the other interesting thing about this revolver is you'll notice the barrel is not in line with the top cylinder. That is because it actually shoots out of the bottom cylinder. There are only a very few revolvers that were ever made that share this design, mainly because it's incredibly complicated and it's hard to machine and to manufacture. However, the benefits of doing so are you lower your bore axis, which means both felt recoil and overall recoil control way better. It's why the guns like CZs, typically CZ75s, or the new guns like the Laugo Alien, you notice the barrels are super close to the shooter's index finger. It's to help to mitigate recoil. Doubly so when you have a revolver shooting such a potent cartridge, so that makes a lot of sense. And again, yeah, it's really cool. It's neat that she has a speed loader. It's doubly neat that they probably modeled an animation for every single kind of reload, whether it's a full reload or partial reload. You notice she only has one bullet, so the speed loader only has one bullet in it. That being said, we kind of have to ask ourselves, if you have to load one bullet, why would you put a bullet in a speed loader and then load it with, like, to just load it manually? But anyway, it's still neat that they did it.
構造という時に
So now, I don't think this would fire. Because she put it, it's, because we got what, like 5 rounds here, right?
構造という時
Because right now it's on the bottom cylinder, which means if she shoots, it's actually going to shoot out of the cylinder next to the right of the bottom cylinder, which means, no, this was not correct, actually. If you need to load a single round to shoot immediately, she should have put it in this cylinder right here.
いう時にグレースを救ってくれる頼りになる武器
Maybe not. Well, no, it rotated a little bit. Maybe not. I'm still iffy on that one. I might need to check my wheel guns. But I feel like that's not right. God, according to Russians, that is lore accurate 9x39. Really quick, something I wanted to point out. You'll notice on the model for the 9x39 revolver, I swear to God, I'll remember the name of this thing. It's like the RK9 or something like that. On the grips, you'll notice there's a pair of angel wings. This is a reference to the quick draw army that was in Resident Evil 2 for Claire's campaign, specifically her B campaign, where on the grips there is a silver pair of angel wings. That was just a neat little thing I noticed when I was going back to RE2 to inspect the Remington 870. Fun little throwback there. It might be, it's kind of hard to tell. It might be a 2011. It's definitely like a crazy 1911 looking thing. It's kind of hard to tell what caliber it is. I mean, just judging from the recoil alone, probably 45, maybe a 10 millimeter. It'd be really cool if it was a 10 millimeter, but probably not. This reminds me of, I'm forgetting the name, but specifically, actually, is that a compact? I think this is a compact, probably like a 2011 or something would be my guess. Maybe it's just a regular full-size handgun. I typically go for longer barrels, so some full-size handguns seem a little shorter to me. Oh no, that's probably a 6-inch barrel. But anyway, this is a Gucci 1911. Yeah, it's got probably got like agency triggers and all that crazy stuff. So it looks like it's got an integrated compensator as well, flared magwell. Yeah, this thing is crazy serrations. Although you would think with Leon being as experienced as he is, it's weird that he doesn't have a laser sight because, RE4. But, for modern tactical stuff, it's much more common to see optics and optics cuts. So I wonder if that's going to be an upgrade later on. Like you go to if there's a merchant, which there might be. I wonder if you're going to get a slide that has, because this slide I don't think has an optics cut on it. So I wonder if you're going to find an alternate slide that has an optics cut on it, then you can throw an optic on it. Because you would think him being such an experienced government agent, he would carry around handguns with optics on them. Like that's pretty par for the course for modern firearms now. Another quick thing I noticed was the health bar. It kind of looks like it's got slots here. I wonder if that's for rather an extended health or bringing back the armor system from RE4. But anyway.
トマホークっていう
He's got night
No
sights
sword.
too. We see that a little bit later on. He's just casually
Shooting
sharpening his axe. Yeah, he's got night sights on there. That looks like a surefire by the model. So Leon also has that same revolver. I was kind of hoping he'd have a different gun. I was surprised to see, well, not him necessarily, but I saw him with this gun first, and I thought, okay, Grace is gonna have her own gun, but no, it's the same one. So I wonder. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, you know what? It's because okay, so they cut the slide to make room for the compensator. So that's probably a 5-inch slide, maybe, or rather a maybe a 5-inch barrel or 4.5-inch barrel, so they could throw a comp on there. Interesting decision. I mean, if you're concealed carrying, I can see why you would want to do that, but again, Leon's coming in here knowing full well that shit probably hit the fan, so having a gun for the purpose of concealment doesn't make a lot of sense unless there's the RE4 inventory system where it's like takes up less space. And then gameplay wise, I get that, and it fits it lore wise, but I digress. Yeah, it just looks like standard night sights, maybe true glows or something like that. They look integrated. I mean, from here, it almost looks like you can see the fiber optic right there and there, but maybe not.
狙って、
No, it's
体
not.
術を決め
Well, maybe. Well,
それから
kind of hard to
敵が
tell.
持っていた武器を奪って
Wait, no, yeah, you can see it right there. So okay, so they're fiber optic sights. They're not the typical tritium night sights that we see. Again, makes sense. Pretty standard as far as really expensive like Gucci stuff goes. Yeah, this thing's kitted out, dude. Again, I'm just really surprised you would go this hard on a gun and not have an optic on there, even like a small one. But I guess the whole philosophy of this weapon was for concealed carry. So, okay, we can talk about this a little bit. I need to look up what this is actually. So, from what I can tell, this is another gun that's obviously is made for concealed carry. I thought it was a Beretta at first. And it could still be, but what we can see from when it fires and when it's out of ammunition is that the slide locks back and the barrel's in place. So that tells me it's a fixed barrel design, which you don't really see a whole lot of. Typically, handguns nowadays have rotating barrel designs, or I mean, I think some handguns even have a delayed roller, or like maybe not delayed, but some other kind of obscure thing. But because I know in the Steam showcase for like the extra content, we can see like what looks like a Walther. I'm trying to get to it really quick. This told me that okay, it's like I thought it was a locked barrel design, which is almost true. It's actually a hinged barrel design. So the barrel hinges out for disassembly. Now, obviously, if you look at the model in game, it looks like because it's what's screwing me up is right here, kind of right above the trigger guard. It's kind of hard to tell, but it might be ambidextrous. It looks like there's something besides this there, which was kind of throwing me off. But I don't know what else it could like. I don't know what else it could be. Like especially right here, you can see there's something else there, which I don't see in any other Tomcat or Bobcat. There's a couple different variations of this gun. So maybe it's just been edited for copyright reasons, or it's an even more obscure firearm that I'm not aware of. But as far as Grace's pistol goes, this is the closest thing I could find. I'm pretty sure it's some concealed carry Beretta, very likely a Bobcat or a Tomcat. Which makes sense. You know, she's small. She doesn't really know how to shoot, so it's a 32 ACP gun, which is basically just which is I think it's like 9mm Makarov, but way shittier. I might be thinking of 380, but anyway, it's a pea shooter, and it's definitely a gun a lot of women would be drawn towards. It's very small. Recoil is surprisingly sharp for guns like this because there's just not a lot of weight to weigh the slide and the barrel down.
そのための様々な
Yeah, I
手段を用意しています
don't know what else it could
それ
be.
ほど重
I mean, it's definitely a Beretta. It's got to be. It looks like a Ruger. Is that a Bursa? The grip profile, like, I know this is based off of a Walther with a fixed barrel, but this grip profile just screams Ruger to me. Like, this is like way too over organized, if that's even the right word. This is a Ruger, I swear to God. I don't know which one. But overall, solid choices. What the fuck is this? Is this a mini Uzi? My guess is this is some derivative of a modern IWI weapon with an extended barrel, and looks like we have M-lock rails on the side. Compensator, obviously. Wow. Yeah, it's an Uzi. It's just some modern IWI weapon. God, Israeli weapons are so fucked up looking, dude. I didn't even know what it was. Like, I knew if I looked at it longer, I'd know what it was, but anyways. So I'm assuming this is going to be, like, kind of the fully upgraded, like, best pistol, kind of like the VZ52 or VZ58 was in RE8. This is a cool costume, though. I like this. I like this as a throwback to the Mila Jovovich movies. You know, she's cool. She's a really cool actress. Not a whole lot to talk about there. It's just kind of like extra. It's like, why are we taking a weapon that was meant to be compact? And I guess this is my criticism of the VZ58 a little bit, but sorry, Soviets had cooler weapons than the Israelis. I just, like, as far as like a overall design philosophy coming from a consumer perspective, like, outside of, it's not like Mall Ninja, but it's like, why are you doing this? Why do you have a compact weapon? You can't even really call it a PDW, dude. And just throw a bunch of rails on it. Like, the compensator makes sense. I mean, it's an extended barrel. I don't get it. I mean, I guess I'm assuming this is the stock and it folds down and you pull it out. It's just, this is such a weird configuration. Israeli guns are so weird, dude. They're all just weird. Anyway, I think that's about it
Along with the platform
as far
shown,
as guns go. I think we're done.
the
Anyway.